welcome to this latest session on Conversations on AI. It's an haptic initiative for the world's leading minds to exchange thoughts around the business of AI. Our guest today is a well-renowned authority on customer loyalty and service innovation. In fact, in 2021, for the seventh year in a row, Global Gurus ranked him in the top 10 keynote speakers in the world on customer service. We're really excited to welcome Chip Bell, a keynote speaker and an award-winning author who has helped many Fortune 100 companies dramatically enhance their bottom line and reputation through innovative customer-centric strategies that address the needs of today's vocal customers. Hi, Chip. Thank you for joining us on the session today. We're really excited to share your thoughts with the audience.
Absolutely. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, without further ado, I'll just get started on this. Today's theme is rethinking your customer-centric strategy. And we'll just start off with asking you, what creates a profoundly remarkable customer experience?
I think when I use the word profoundly remarkable, just those words right there, it means it has such an impact on the customer, they can't wait to remark about it to somebody else. And so, we people don't talk or tweet about good service anymore. What they do talk about is service that's unique, that's different, that's over the top, that's unexpected. That's what creates a conversation. And so when it has it touches them in a way that goes, wow, that was unique, that was different, then they're going to say something. They're going to remark about it, which in many ways is the definition of an advocate, someone who says good things on your behalf.
Absolutely. Yeah. Validation and advocacy can go a long way, right? Like, especially from your peers and community folks. Yeah, for sure. Now, let's talk a little bit about the impact of intelligence, both human and artificial, in serving the customers of today.
The impact of what?
Human and artificial intelligence, like AI, in serving the customers.
Right. Well, I think that the whole world of the AI has made the experience for the customer easier. It has made it much more efficient, much faster. I think in some ways it has taken a lot of the hassle out. It's provided methodology by which we can communicate with the customer in a more personalized, more direct, more obvious, more exact way. And we know that customers today are hungry for information. They like to make smart decisions. And the more that we utilize AI in that as a tool for knowledge, the more we have an educated customer, the more they're going to tend to do business with us again. So I think it has enhanced the overall experience for the customer. It's been a powerful and continues to be a very powerful tool.
Of course, yeah, for sure. Now, you've often mentioned that there are two sides to service, the outcome and the experience. Could you elaborate on that?
Certainly. Well, you think about an airline experience is a good one. I would call an outcome, typically those things that are in the outcome side of service are things you can quantify, you can measure. Did the plane land in the right city? We sort of like that when we take a flight, that it lands in the right city. Was it on time? Was it safe? Did I arrive? Were my bags there when I got to my location? All of those things are the outcome I'm looking for. I want a flight. I want to take a flight. I want to go from point A to point B. That's the outcome I'm looking for. And then there are a lot of ways to determine, were we successful in that particular outcome? The other side is the experience side, and that's the emotional side, more often the qualitative side. And that's basically the emotions of how I was treated, how friendly they were, how helpful they were. Did they treat me in a way that says you're valuable to us, you're important to us? Those are more difficult to quantify. So it's like measuring a good marriage. How do you measure a good marriage? It's not based on things like how many times you took the trash out, or it's measured by emotional kind of things. And so in some ways, those are the other side to it, and I think more important. And the reason I say they're more important is a lot of the things that we think of as the quantitative side, the outcome side, or sort of course, they're going to land on time. Of course, they're going to land in the right city. Of course, they're going to be safe. Those are all requirements, important table stakes, nevertheless. And so it's important. There was a great piece of research that not too long ago that asked customers the most important features of an airline flight, and safety came out number one. But then they ask a second question: what are the features that cause you to select one airline over another airline? And safety wasn't in the top 10. Now, we couldn't say, well, safety is not important to the customer. Of course it's important, but it's not a differentiator. It's not going to cause me to go, I like Delta because they always land in the right city. And so it is those, the more qualitative side, the more experienced side, where we have an opportunity to differentiate and be more competitive.
Yeah,
So
especially, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I said things like price, for example. Those are important, but they're not that's a table stake again. There's a feature of the outcome. How much did it cost me? So those are the things we sometimes, I say what drives loyalty, as opposed to what's important. It's not that we don't want to do the things that are important to the customer. Of course we do, but I'd rather know more about what drives their loyalty. And again, to use the airline example, safety won't get me there.
Yeah, especially Chip, like even in my case, right? Like when I'm flying, especially when I buy a ticket on Frontier or like Spirit or something like that, and if it's the first time I'm flying a budget airline, the first thing I do is I go to the wiki page, I read about the age of the fleet, any accidents or incidents and sort of thing. Sure. You just like you just want to make sure, especially because they're like budgeted airlines, right? And I don't think everyone does that with Delta, American, or United, for example. But you're right. Like, those are the number one things on your mind, right?
Yeah, you don't ever see an airline ad that says, "Fly with us, we rarely crash."
True. That can never happen. Yeah. And while you were speaking about both sides, both of the outcome and the experience, Chip, I was also drawing parallels between in the customer success, how we have product experience and the people experience. Like when a company is working with a customer, how you strive to maintain a similar kind of experience on the experience they're getting from the product, and how their interactions with the customer success of a vendor or a is like. So I could draw like pretty much parallels between.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we all know the products that are successful are seemingly those that have the customer's fingerprints all over them. It's like they have been designed and crafted with a customer in mind. We have an expression. We have an expression in my house. When you buy a product and you can't get into it, you can't get it to open, you can't get the package open, anything. We say, I wish the CEO could open this damn thing. Well, it is a commentary on the fact that a lot of times when the people who are in charge of designing the product often don't have a line of sight to the customer. And so the customer is not embedded in the way in which they design their products. That's one of the reasons why Apple has been so successful, is it's been crafted with the thought of what's a customer's experience like. Even down, Stephen Jobs would get carried away with the sound the box made when you opened it. Things like that. Did it have a whoosh sound that had a sense of class and elegance and quality about it? Those are the things it was about what the customer is going to experience. And so I think the smart organization, even on the product side, say, how do we embed the customer's hopes and aspirations into what we do, and not just the engineers?
Yeah, for sure, Chip. Yeah. And I now got to ask the COVID question, of course. So it's the last 18 months have been pretty different from anything we've all experienced before. How has COVID-19 changed the customer experience game, for better or worse?
I think it has overall changed it for the better. Now, I'm an optimist, I must admit. The glass is always half full for me. But I think it has done a lot of things. One is it has created, I think, a greater sensitivity to the customer, a greater attentiveness to the customer and their needs. We've seen in an inventiveness in how we deliver service. All of a sudden, uh, delivery to your home is to companies that normally haven't done that is no big deal anymore. Curbside pickup, we didn't used to have that. I mean, some organizations, not many, but it's now kind of standard fare. So I think there are a lot of things. I think also the way in which there's empathy for the customer in terms of what they go through, and you see all of the extra effort spent on protecting the customer, taking care of the customer. I'm getting on a flight in the morning to Buffalo, and I've already gotten tons of emails from Delta Airlines about safety and what we're going to do and what we hope you'll do and how to keep this a safe flight. Well, I didn't get that before. I mean, so all of a sudden now it's, how they've made exceptions. They used to have the things that you couldn't bring a liquid on board. Now they're going to let you bring a little bottle of hand sanitizer, and that's like, okay. Used to, you couldn't bring stuff like that, but it's things like that that's shown an adaptability to the customer. And I think the COVID has brought some of that out of necessity, obviously, has brought some of that out in terms of interaction with the customer. So I think it's had a good side. We've seen how we've been able to people work at home in ways. It's been so much fun to me because I do a lot of Zoom. And people don't mind if their dog runs across the room during the conversation. Well, how many times were you in a meeting at an office building and the dog ran across the room? It adds a sense of humanity, a sense of realness and authenticity. I think is an asset. I hope we keep dogs in conference rooms.
For sure, Chip. I mean, adaptability is the word there. I
Right.
agree with that. Yeah. And now customer service is a way of business and not just a department, right? So how true is that statement?
It is. It is a way of life. My wife, my dentist always say, only take care of the teeth you plan to keep. And I think that same sentiment is important. Only take care of the customers you want to keep. And so and whose business is it to take care of the customer? Obviously, it's everybody's business. We might have departments that make it more effective and more efficient, like customer service functions that do that, call center, contact centers that help make that easier. But I think the customer, if you look at the companies that are most successful today, the ones that have been continually being successful, and you look at the role the customer plays in the C-suite, the leadership of the organization, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for them. And it's not something that they say, well, I don't have anything to do with the customers. That's the customer service area. It's like saying, I don't have anything to do with the finances of the organization. That's the finance department. Well,
True.
who's in charge of the budget in the organization? Everybody. Who's in charge of the customers? Everybody. So I think it needs to be, obviously, Peter Drucker used to say, the purpose of an organization is to create and retain a customer. That's the purpose of the organization. And things like financials are all the ways we keep score. He said if you say, well, the purpose of organizations is to make money, he said, that's like saying the purpose of life is to eat. Obviously, we got to eat to live, but that's not the purpose of life any more than the bottom line is the purpose of the organization. It's all about to take care, to keep and create and retain a customer.
Absolutely. I think, everything starts with the customer.
Yes.
So that's for sure. Yeah. Now, how is digital transformation impacting the way businesses interact with their customers?
I think it's here again. I think the whole way in which digital has entered in the marketplace and been infused in the marketplace in terms of, I think it is, again, it's all made it efficient, much more effective. I think it equips them with much more knowledge, much more information. And if you think about it, it allows me, as I mentioned, to make smart decisions. So, we're able to access the customer much faster than we ever have before. And so I think all of those things for the customer standpoint are assets. My only caution about that world is that's not the centerpiece of the world. We need to, technology is a tool. If we make technology what we're all about, as opposed to the customer and their experience, we'll miss the mark. I still remember, watching 2001 Space Odyssey, that classical movie, and we saw what happened when Hal, the computer on board, took over. And the only way they could defeat Hal, who was much smarter than the two astronauts, combined, was to be more creative than Hal was able to do. But I think it was Stanley Kubrick's early warning to say technology needs to remain a tool. If it becomes the center of what you do, we will miss the point.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mostly, I think both in terms of the being adaptive and also meeting the expectations of the customers. I think digital transformation can help in that for sure, Chip. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we need to never forget it's about a relationship. It's fundamental relationship. I mean, rarely does a marriage counselor say to a couple having challenges in their relationship, what you need is more technology in your marriage.
Lasting, yeah, for sure.
And that's true. I mean, here again, we got to keep it as a tool, as something that enables us to do things better, more efficiently. But it's not the relationship.
Of course, yeah. Now in 2020, literally every brand that you could name is talking about personalization. In 2021, how further do businesses need to go with their personalization efforts?
Well, I think personalization is the key to the future, because the customer believes from a personalization standpoint that I'm important, that I'm valued, that you're treating me like I'm the only one you have. It harkens back to the old days when we thought of the true experience of the marketplace being the village market. And the village market was farmers would bring their goods to the town square, and there was a lot of bartering and exchange things. But you knew Miss Jones likes this instead of that. You knew that your customers who came to the marketplace in the village preferred this and this, and so and you made sure you brought it, and you always brought that candied apple for little Susie along with her mother, because she likes things sweet. I mean, those little things that say that I'm valued, I'm important, I'm a neighbor, I am a neighbor, I'm treated like a neighbor. I don't think
you're part of the community.
Yeah, and I think the more we think of the marketplace in that village-like way, and the more we treat customers like a neighbor, the more we tend to retain their loyalty. And so I think personalization is a path to that. And I think technology can help us with making it feel like to the customer that we know you, we know your needs, and we're keeping track of what you require. And it makes a difference. I mean, obviously there's an edge where it feels kind of creepy. We don't want creepy. But we do like to be known and remembered, and treated like a neighbor. So I think it'll always be with us. I think it is a way for most organizations to build loyalty and to keep the customer.
Yeah, absolutely. Chip, I was also reading a lot about this, right? Like in the sense that you got to first make the customer feel that they're part of the community. And I think that starts with, a lot with personalization also, right? Like how personalized do they feel so that they can feel that they're part of that community, right?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Even if you know it's being done with technology, the fact that it's going on and you're getting a personalized experience says they must care about me. I used to work with a major luxury hotel brand, and they had a system by which they would help personalize the customer's experience and would remember a lot of personal things. They'd notice things about the customer's experience. For example, if you ordered a fruit plate and you didn't eat the kiwi, and then you ordered it again and again didn't eat the kiwi on the fruit plate, the third time you ordered it, you wouldn't have kiwi on your plate. But they made it very transparent that they were using technology to help them achieve that personalization. Customers didn't care. They didn't go, well, where are the cameras? They must be watching what I'm eating here in the hotel room. They knew it was a system by which, the people who are doing the preparation of the meals were noticing it and putting in your profile that you don't care for kiwi. and it goes in your profile. And so every hotel all over the world in that brand would know you didn't like kiwi. So it's those kind of things. I think if we're transparent about the technology used in personalization, we gain the benefit of the customer feeling valued without the liability of it feeling manipulative.
True. Now, finally, tell us a bit about your book, Inside Your Customer's Imagination, and the idea behind it, Chip.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, I just happen to have a copy right here. You think I'd have one right here, Inside Your Customer's Imagination. And I think the picture on the front, I don't know whether you can see it or not, but the picture on the front, it shows a coffee cup with a slot cut out in the bottom of it that has a cookie, sprinkled cookie. I wrote a book called Sprinkles as well. And so obviously the coffee heats the cookie. And the concept of the book is just that. It is how do you get the customers involved in designing products, services, and solutions? How do you craft it so they feel like they are a part of the creation? I'll give you some examples. Starbucks. We think that Starbucks, all the stuff that Starbucks serves in the Starbucks store came from corporate. They didn't. They came from customers. For example, pumpkin spice latte was created by a customer. Those little swiggle sticks that go in the coffee cup stirrers that keep it from sloshing out of the little hole where you drink it was created by customers. Wi-Fi in the stores was created by customers. Cake pops, that's a customer creation. So here again, you could go down the list of lots of things to where they got customers so intimately involved in the design that their fingerprints are on the products or services they deliver. And I think what led to me creating this book, writing this book, is my whole area is around innovative service. How do you create value unique, not just value added? How do you surprise the customer with little things you do? And what I found in a lot of the research I've done is the more you can get the customer to be involved in the process, the more you capture their imagination that's embedded in that product, service, or solution. And so the book is about how to do that. It's all about building a partnership with customers, and so it's focusing on not just the customer's needs and expectations, but their hopes and aspirations. I'll give you a quick example. I was working with a major pizza delivery company. If I named them, you'd know the name. And they asked us to come in and help them figure out what the good, bad, and the ugly. What can we do? And we were asking questions around price, product, and process. And we'd hear things like, the pizza doesn't taste that great, or it costs too much, or it takes too long to get here, that kind of thing. All about all those three things. And we were hearing the same story over and over in focus groups. And we said, let's shake it up. Let's have some fun with this, and let's ask some off the wall questions like, what's something that no pizza company does that you think would be cool? And customers would sort of dream with you a little bit. We call them dreamer questions, where you took the customer out of that needs and expectations and into that hopes and aspirations. And customers would say, why don't you do something with the box, the pizza box? We go, what? Yeah, the pizza box. I get the pizza out and I throw it away. Why don't you do something with the box? And sure enough, several years later, I'm working with a major paper company that made boxes for this particular company. And sure enough, on the inside, there was a puzzle, there was a mask, there was a coloring book or something. But they simply, all they had to do was put a sheet of wax paper between the top of the inside bottom of the lid and the pizza, and it turned into something the kids could use after the pizza was eaten. So it's thinking like that. It's looking for, how do I get customers to think creatively with me? And so they become part of the solution and how we design it. So it was a fun book to do, and I learned a lot about companies that do that extremely well. And so anyway, that's the essence of the book, Inside Your Customer's Imagination.
Yeah, I completely agree, Chip. In that sense, like the more you make them part of the process, I think you can there's also a sense of loyalty which builds up, right? You start to think, oh, Starbucks is my brand, right? And then there's loyalty automatically follows, right? I think that's a great thought, yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
So Thank you so much, Chip. I mean, it's been really fun,
Good.
having this quick discussion with you today.
Thank you.
I personally learned a lot about, customer experience and, sort of things with this discussion. So guys, please continue watching engaging discussions in the space of technology, and subscribe to Conversations on AI. You can also follow our conversations on LinkedIn and Twitter. Thank you so much, Chip.
Oh, my pleasure. Enjoyed being with you. You did a great job. Thank you.